Welcome. Thanks for coming. So my name is Tony. I'm a UX designer in Soho that works primarily with healthcare companies, pharma companies. And yeah, this is the title I chose, why UX should own conversion rate optimization. Wow. So crazy. So, my background is in industrial design. I used to design hydroponic systems. Anybody knows what a hydroponic system is? To grow plants without soil. I used to design those and sell them. And then I got bored of that and I just joined the digital part of industrial design, or digital design. I've been working for a bunch of companies, especially mainly in agencies. So some projects that were bigger or smaller, a bit of everything. So who usually owns conversion rate optimization? Because for what I've seen, really, it's rare to see someone with a design-related role in charge of conversion rate optimization. Normally we find digital marketing directors, no disrespect to anybody from marketing. The general marketing team, e-commerce managers, e-commerce directors, digital strategists. Today, two speakers today, they actually have on the job titles optimization next to user experience, which is great. So, UX or product design should own conversion rate optimization. We'll go after about UX, product design, because it's just the same thing. It only depends how you do it. And I'm going to give you 3 reasons for this. The first one is this. The designers of the digital product should be responsible for its performance. This is it. You design a product, you nurture it, you create it, you have to be responsible for the performance. It just makes sense. Because it's like you deliver the job, but let me finish the fucking job, that sort of thing. Design is never done, that's the thing. You need to throw it there, test, analyze, and optimize. Reason 2, because it's very effective. All of these companies, they are probably the best conversion rate optimization companies out there. And if you check all the case studies, I spent a lot of time checking the case studies. Basically, they follow the UX process. Double diamond, design thinking, they do that. So it works, it's effective. They use things like qualitative research, quantitative research, prototyping, hypothesis generation, usability testing. They basically UX designers. Reason number 3. How many UX designers here? Okay, quite a few. Well, you can tackle the big UX challenge. That's what we call the big UX challenge, is how to sell UX. Because a lot of people complain, oh, I can't sell UX to these stakeholders or these clients. It's hard to sell the benefits of UX. They don't let me do it. You have to talk about numbers. When you talk about numbers, it becomes very effective. If you have an e-commerce platform, you talk about money. That's very powerful. Subscribers, you can talk about lead generation, or just simply KPI improvement. Those are words and targets that the senior stakeholders know, the clients love, and everybody, so you will have a good chance of selling UX. Now you might say, what about marketing work? Because marketing people, they bring traffic from different channels. They also check conversion rates, and they nurture the channels with a better conversion rate, and so they also work on this stuff. And this is the one thing I say, we should probably care less about job titles and care more about how to solve problems, how people solve problems. I've seen a lot of companies with very poor UX design culture. There's a lot of UX designers that don't really do UX. Product designers that are basically UXers, they don't have UX in their title because we don't need to. It's all about the process, what you do, how you solve problems. And there's also very good marketing people doing very good stuff, very user-centric approaches. And I guess I was a bit of an idealist when I started in design, and I used to see marketing people like this sort of cheesy salesmen that just want to sell you the stuff and they don't care about the user experience. Actually, I was trying to look the cheesiest pictures of salesmen that I could find. I actually found some hipster salesmen. Well, I was very amazed about that. Look at those, it's a great time to be alive, guys. Look at that. Having a blast at the numbers. Look at that guy. He's ready for his Uber. He's ready to hunt some cold brew coffee, maybe. I know. So that's the thing. Some marketing firms that are doing very great UX research. So full respect for those guys. I don't care if they don't have the UX title on the job titles. So let's forget about these guys. The latest things that I've been learning about good marketing, things like share of voice. It's actually a very cool tool. It tracks user-generated mentions on social media or search engines. It compares the volume of those mentions with your competitors, and it gives you great insights. It's a great complement to competitive analysis. Some marketing teams are doing also things called brand health, also tracking user-generated keywords. And you can add values and scores to those keywords, positive, negative, neutral, to calculate a score of how people are talking online about your brand. So in terms of doing research, these marketing people are doing amazing stuff, and we should all learn from them. Brand health can come in different ways, like this, or the spider chart, like this. It's up to you to choose which kind of metrics you're looking for, which kind of keywords, what kind of value you want to give to those keywords to calculate the score. It takes a little bit of work to do, but then when you get it, it's just amazing, because in seconds you get so many insights, user-generated insights of how people are talking about your brand. It's pretty good. You can use social media listening tools for this, TalkWalker, BrandWatch, those. They're very, very useful. So, respect to marketing, and we should care less about job titles and more about how to solve problems. Now, let's talk about conversion rate optimization. First thing, forms, so crucial. I'm going to show you an example, a real example of one of my clients a few years ago. That is a form that they had on the checkout process. Isn't that beautiful? That's true, true story. 15 fields, 10 of them mandatory. Phone, mandatory. Loads of info on the side that I'm pretty sure nobody reads. It actually makes you think, do you really want me to sign up or what? Very weird. So it's actually a problem I found in B2B companies. They think that B2B is special, you know. It's not like B2C, you know. You can have complex things because people will do it. That client said, look, our users are engineers. They're all academic people. They're not going to be scared about a clunky form, no form. Cool. I hate that website. It's too easy to use. Said no one ever. And this is true. Actually, one of the latest articles from Nielsen and Norman talk about this. Nobody would ever complain about a website being too easy to use. So we said, all right. We tested these with real users, with real engineers and academic people. There you go. This is literal quotes from that round of user testing. Very clunky, lots going on, very frustrating, it's very outdated and very hard to use. Probably the worst checkout experience I've seen. These are these academic people. Obviously, because they're humans. Another thing I particularly hate is the title. You have to choose a title. One more field in your form. Sometimes they have jobs, like this is a real example actually. For some reason they chose doctors and what I guess is engineers or professor. I guess it's very important for you to choose that. I wonder why. Gender. Do we really need to know about gender? I don't know. You better have a good excuse. Gender is not A or B. We know that. So the options you can include, you better be careful. We really need to talk about why we need these things. And the one that I love the most, why do we need one option for man and 3 options for women? Depending on whether she's married or not, or she doesn't want to disclose that information. Really? Do we need that? You see that every day. Crazy stuff. And yeah, probably nothing to do with conversion, just pisses me off. So, cool. The login wall. That's the one thing in the, oh man, it's just so frustrating. We should let users do first, show the value first, and then ask for a login. Be a gentleman. Who knows this guy? Oh, very few people, yes. This is amazing guy. UX legend, UX heavyweight. You probably know this quote. How changing the button increased a site's annual revenues by 300 million, just one button. 300 million, one button. Which button can you put in the checkout experience that's going to make such a dramatic change? Come on. Which one? One button. One click to pay, but are you logged in or not? Continue, as guys. Let users do first. Let do first. Show value first. And then ask them for an email or whatever. Another thing that, talking about these things is passwords. Just crazy stuff, man. The password must be at least 8 characters long. Minimum of 1 lowercase letter, minimum of 1 uppercase letter, at least 1 numeric character, at least 1 special character, and you should not mention the product or website name. Okay, all right, cool. You ask me all this stuff, and then you don't even let me see the fucking password. Dots there. Crazy stuff. Actually, when I get emails like this, like, useless marketing emails, hey, Tony, you got to subscribe or whatever, I obviously click on unsubscribe. Sometimes it takes you to a login page. I don't even bother. I don't care. I prefer I'm going to change which email. Did I choose which password? I don't know. I just go back to my email and just send it to spam because it's so frustrating. But I'm not the only one. Etsy, they actually did some research and they realized that 75% of the users that they had to reset the password while checking out wouldn't complete the checkout. 75%. And they just solved that by adding the show password button. So now users can actually click and see the password. That later became actually hide password, so they will show you the password by default, and you can choose to hide it. And we see that progression now, thankfully, like we have the example from Amazon, from not showing the password to actually clicking and showing the password, to then click to hide, to then no password at all. Use your finger. And I'm glad to see this. Obviously, Amazon always ahead of the game. And what if the best checkout experience was no checkout at all? It's the best. You guys know this? Thai, by the way, they serve these deliciously looking pots. They're so yummy. Oh my God, it's a cleaning product, but man. They're delicious. They look delicious. Anyway, so yeah, Amazon Dash, that's it, no checkout, just one button, incredible. And this is what I call the golden UX circle for some reason. It's basically, you craft the experience first, and that experience will shape the tech, and will shape then your business rules, not the other way around. Experience first, and then the rest. Unfortunately, what I see the most is the opposite. We have some business rules, and because of these business rules, we have this tech. And because of this tech, you are very limited on what you can do in your UX experience. So they call it constraints. Most times it's just bullshit. It's not constraints, it's just you not wanting to create a good experience for customers. Best example here, Yoids and Monzo. I lost my wallet a few weeks ago. And I have my debit card from Yoids and the one from Monzo. It's just a pain to get the card replaced by Yoids. I had to call them, I had to actually go to the office and get it, just so they can send it and in a week get it. With Monzo, it was 2 taps in the app. One to freeze the card and another one to get the replacement. In 2 days it was in my house. It's amazing. In Monzo, they know they shape the experience, which decides which tech we're going to use, and then we craft the business rules. Day and night. I'm going to talk a little bit about good conversion rate optimization versus evil CRO. I'm pretty sure we've all seen this at some point. I know they've changed it recently, but still, we probably all of us have gone through this. Upselling by force, going through a checkout, wanting to buy some plane tickets. Oh, you have to rent the car, you have to get insurance, you have to do this and that. You have to skip all of them. Some options are in the drop-down that are pre-selected by default. You have to go to a drop-down and just find, I don't want this service. Just crazy. But then, at the end of the day, probably at the end of the month, the numbers, they might work for them. But they just forget about the experience. You only see the numbers. They probably want to do all those evil UX things that people do. Like this, sign up to a newsletter, it's amazing. There's no X. What's the X? How can I? First of all, you were doing something and now you're blocked. You just have this message there. And some, even I've seen some, I don't know if you can see there, like, oh yeah, be sad and miss out this great opportunity. They even talk to you like, oh, come on, you're not worth my service. Crazy stuff. So again, the numbers might work for them, but especially talking about subscribers, what you want is a healthy subscribers list. You know, you don't care much about the volume of that list, but you want the quality. And when you send a marketing email to that list, you want the click-through rate to be healthy as well. Which drives to this. Are we data-informed or data-driven? It's not the same. Because if you're only data-driven, you only care about the numbers, eventually you might create a monster that offers a far worse experience than you were supposed to do. And I'm going to give you an example. Imagine a country with these numbers. 1% unemployment, very low crime rate, violence barely exists. Isn't that great? I mean, sign me up for that country. Sign me up. The problem is that it's from the movie The Purge. They do that by killing all the homeless people one day a year and making that legal, you know? So I know it's a gross example of what you can do, but you can create a monster if you just follow the numbers and you forget about the experience. So I think we should be data-informed and data-driven. How can you do that? That's where brand values play a good part. What kind of company do you want to work for? What kind of company do you want to be in, you know? At the end of the day, you're going to have to make a decision, and ethics will play a part of your experiments. It's not all about the numbers. It's up to you. And the best advice I can give is test everything. Some people can tell you, oh, orange converts better than green for your CTAs. It's crap, because I've seen so many case studies that one color just performs better than the other. You have to test everything. I know that when you start from scratch, you have nothing, you have no data. You're going to have to follow best practice, but don't forget you have to test everything. For example, this website called goodui.org has very interesting case studies. They tell you things like this. Don't sell features, sell benefits. Increase conversions. Don't talk about, you can take a screenshot, you can do this. No, let's talk about the benefits. But man, after checking probably hundreds of case studies of CRO agencies, I can find pretty much as many case studies where selling features perform better than selling benefits than the opposite. So you have to test. You should always test. Unfortunately, it's not that simple. You should test that always. You have an idea, you should test it. That, by the way, is the title of probably the best book I've read about conversion rate optimization. You want to take a picture because it's amazing. You should test that from Chris Gower. You should use it as a guide to follow your experiment, really. Don't copy what other brands are doing. Don't copy what, because they have their own reasons, their own product, their own user targets. You have to test everything yourself. The ultimate goal should be creating a delightful experience, right? And who knows? Maybe we can help our friend, the hipster salesman, get the nearest cold brew coffee. Thank you very much.